Hi, folks. Andrew here. Popcorn or whiskey? I am the face. Who runs the place? And we have Friday night going on tonight. So salute. Here we go. Give everybody a few minutes to join in. Oh, also tonight, I have some popcorn, which is going to get the ball rolling tonight with an off topic just to have people come in. Yes, my hat's low because I still haven't adjusted my lights yet. I want it to. We'll get that in the podcasting section tonight. Got the popcorn going on. I just forgot what I was talking about. So popcorn before that. And yeah, well, while we're giving people a few minutes to get on here to see what's going on. Popcorn. I was wondering about this tonight as I was popping my popcorn because I use microwave popcorn because I'm too lazy to get everything else. And I get the pot, then put some oil in it and do it that way. I'm sure it tasted a lot better doing it that way, but the cleanup is a lot more as well, and I don't want to clean up. So I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way, microwave it. As I'm waiting for it to pop, I started asking myself, what causes one kernel to pop at 1 minute into it and another kernel to pop at 100 and a minute and 30 seconds into it? What causes the kernels to pop at different times? I wonder how they determine that. I'm sure people way smarter than me figure that part out. And I first of all, I have zero desire to figure that part out. I don't want to figure that part out. But hey, that is part of it, I guess. Let me see here. Yeah, I am live. Okay. And I'm checking if I'm live on different platforms because my buddy JD went live earlier tonight with his show. And when I went to his screen, the page to watch him, it took me someplace weird, someplace funky, and I got to get with him about that and let him know what happened there. But go check out Mayhem Media. He has a lot of good stuff going on there, and also the Boiling Point podcast. He's getting a lot of traction with the Boiling Point podcast. He does local politics and local school board stuff, and my gosh, there's some stuff happening over in his neck of the woods that can translate into nationally as well, because every society goes through. I'm not going to get into it, but go over there and check it out. And I'll have him on again. Not tonight, but I'll have him on again soon, and I'm sure we'll discuss it. But good man over there, JD. Go over and check him out. Mayhem Media and the Boiling Point podcast. All right? Okay, so as promised, tonight we're going to get into Kyle Busch, podcasting, and some yoga. How did I come up with those three? First three things that popped into my head. I mean, Kyle Busch, I don't know if I want to get into it yet because I don't want to bring the show down, but it's also an important topic that needs to be said. But before we do, let's get into the podcasting thing. Podcasting, something I like to do, something that live streaming, podcasting, it falls under the same umbrella, okay? Some people claim they are two widely different animals, which production-wise they are. But in theory, in how it's received to the public, you can debate that. And I'm sure there are people out there who feel like they're way more intelligent about the subject than me, which some of them, I'm sure most of them are. When it comes to the distribution side and all the behind the scenes side, I will match my on-air talent, and this is not a bragging thing, it's just because I've done it for so long. I will match my on-air talent against anybody out there. I will. Will I win all the time? Probably not. Can I hold my own? Absolutely. I am so comfortable behind this microphone or on this side of the microphone. I am so comfortable on this side of the microphone. I have no problem whatsoever. I have been on a couple of shows, a debate show a couple of months ago. If you remember me talking about this, I was on a debate show and I got my ass handed to me. Holy moly, did I get my ass handed to me? Not because I was it's just because I didn't know the subject as well as the other guy. It was all about politics, which I didn't know we were going to go that realm into it, and I got singled out. So it was a one-on-one, and the guy he kicked my ass big time, and I freely admit it. I think my equipment was better than his. I think I had a better sound quality than his, but content wise, he brought me to the cleaners. It wasn't even close. So my hat tip to that guy. All right, for the people who watch me quite a bit, you're going to see that I have. This is called a windscreen on the microphone. If you didn't know, I have a yellow portion here because when I listened to the sound back, I was getting what they call a lot of plosives coming in. And plosives are when you puh, puh, puh into the microphone, when you see it say certain words that have the explosive, like the Peter Piper picked a peck, like the P sound or the K sound. There's a lot of what they call plosives. I noticed there's a lot of plosives going on with this microphone. And this microphone, this is the Behringer XM 8500. Great microphone, but it's known for its plosives. A lot of people put a windscreen like this, the one that comes about here like this, but you can't hear me when I do that, like that. But I don't like that kind of windscreen, so I use this one. So I just had the black one on for a while. And I said, you know what? I need to have it wasn't right. So I put a second one on tonight to see how the sound quality is. And I guess I should look and see how it sounds when I'm going here. So doing this. Yeah, okay. So the sound quality, I'll match against anybody. I also noticed a little bit of I don't want to call it an echo, but a little bit of just a wee bit of a tin canny thing because I listened to it through these headphones, which most people don't listen to podcasts through headphones like mine. There's a reason I have these headphones. Because I also do some voiceover work on a very low end, but I do some voiceover work, so you need to have decent quality headphones to listen to it and pick up the stuff. Now, if I were big time, like doing Chevy commercials or Ford commercials or car commercials or soda pop commercials or something like that, I would have to get a lot better equipment than what I have, just for that portion of it. But for the level of stuff that I do, my equipment is fantastic. I don't use this microphone. I go into my sound booth over there, which I have what I call a hobo fort. And I do it because it's sound deadening and it works a lot better and I get good quality over there. But it's just not comfortable to do a podcast in there. Plus, I got my background and stuff going on here, so that's a little bit of behind the scenes for you. I am in the process of updating my equipment. So if you look over here where it says support the show, buy me a drink or coffee, andrewpleto.com/drink. Go over there, buy me a drink, buy me a cup of coffee, and help support the show by purchasing me, buying me a cup of coffee, a drink, or what have you. So I would appreciate that. All right. andrewpleto.com. Holy crap, I just heard a woodpecker outside. Isn't that cool? When you live out in the country, live out in the sticks, you hear stuff like that. Okay, so that's the podcasting equipment. And I do have some stuff for sale. So if anybody out there is looking to change their or upgrade, or jump into the world of podcasting or world of live streaming, let me know. I have some equipment for you, or some equipment for sale that I no longer use. It's not because it's bad, because I just upgraded some stuff. That's all. Equipment is fantastic. I used it for a while. I just upgraded because I wanted to. Did I need to? Not really, but I wanted to. So let me know. And for those who are in the know, in the business, what I have is a Focusrite audio interface. the Scarlett Solo. And I also have a Shure SM58 microphone. Work together. They do awesome stuff. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And we can work out something for you. Okay? So there you go. That was the podcasting part of the show. And I can talk all night about that, but I'll nerd out on you guys. And it's not the most appropriate thing to do at this point, is it? No. The main thing for you, my listeners, my followers, the people who support me, first of all, thank you, is how do I sound? For those who are watching right now, how do I sound? Does it sound halfway decent? Can you hear me, first of all? I hope you can, because when I went to the sites, I could hear myself. So let me know. Okay? Also, I will be putting up a phone call or phone number here in a little bit. So if you want to call in, you can. And for those who are offended that I chew my food on air, hey, you don't like it? Get your own show. Hey, Bill. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's good. Okay. So the second thing I want to talk about tonight, yoga. Andrew, you want to talk about yoga? Yeah, I want to talk about yoga. Let's talk about yoga. I am on I don't want to call it a health kick. As you can see, I'm eating popcorn, drinking whiskey. So you can say what you want about that. But I'm changing up the way I work out. Now, I do a lot. Thank you, Lawrence. Appreciate that. I do a lot of at-home workouts. Matter of fact, my business is at-home workouts, and I work with guys over 50 years old who want to work out at home. And I help them out, show them how to do it, because there is an art to it, believe it or not. You just don't start working out. And no, you do not need a lot of equipment to work out at home. Here's what I got. I got two 25-pound dumbbells. I have two 20-pound dumbbells, a couple of 10-pounders, and a couple of 5-pounder dumbbells. That's all the weight I have. I have a pull-up bar. Do you need it? No. Do you need the other stuff? No, you don't. And I work out in a 6-foot by 7-foot carpet. Can I do more? Yeah, of course I have a bigger space, but that's all you need. Honestly, that's all you need. I can put you through a workout just with that equipment that will knock your socks off. Beyond that, there is yoga. Different forms of yoga. If you're in the world, the fitness world, the health world, you've heard of different forms of yoga. You've heard of hot yoga. You've heard of goat yoga. You've heard of yoga at the beach. You've heard of yoga, which tends to be more on the religious side of things. Who's this? Yo, it's okay. Somebody saying, "Yo, let's squat up soon." Okay, I'm hip to it. I'm hip to squatting up, whatever that means. I've got a few tips I think you'll find useful. Hit me upstairs on Discord. Okay, whatever. I don't go on Discord. I don't even know what Discord is. Well, I know what Discord is. I've just never been to it. So appreciate it, whoever you are. Let me give you a shout out, Tim. You know what? I'm not even gonna. If you have a stupid name or a weird name, I'm not gonna even try to figure you out. You know, I have a name that people can pronounce, and then maybe you'll get a little more traction instead of begging for it. Okay, I'm sick of these folks that yeah, I'm cutting down my audience a little bit. These folks that have these weird names on Twitch that you can't even pronounce. Dude, get a name people can pronounce, and you'll get a lot more traction if you ask me. But I'm not going to Discord just because somebody asked me to go on there. Okay, I know what it is. I've never been there. But anyway, okay, going back to workouts. The older we get, right? Let me back up a second here. The human body, regardless if you're age 2 or age 102, The human body was designed to move, to push, to pull, to bend, to squat, to run, to walk, to crawl. It's to move. The human body was designed to move, no matter what state you're in. Okay, and I can speak for my buddy JD, who is in a wheelchair. He knows he needs. He goes to physical therapy several times a week, so he moves. He knows how to do it. His body is designed to move. Maybe not like myself, but his body is designed to move. He knows that. He understands that. So the human body is designed to move. Okay. That being said, all kinds of ways to move it. How you choose to do it is up to you. I strongly feel the older we get, the more we need to be in a position where we are utilizing the different joints, the different tendons, the different muscles in our body. And the best way to do that is through some sort of yoga. Now, that being said, there's all kinds of different forms of yoga out there. A lot of people feel that yoga infringes upon their religious beliefs, which is fine. All right, Bill, let's see. Do you know how to keep your sciatic nerve from hurting? Yeah, Bill, we'll have to talk about that. I'm not in the doctor phase of anything, so I don't want to start giving out advice that might hurt you because I don't know all the symptoms behind that. But here's what I do know, that there's a form of yoga, and I'm not getting paid for this at all. So if you do this, you'll thank me later. Hopefully they will get back with me. But yoga is, how do I want to phrase this without being, let me say it this way. I have been through yoga workouts, 45-minute to hour yoga workouts, which kicked my butt. Absolutely. I have never sweated so much in a workout than I have in an hour yoga workout. People are saying, yeah, but I don't know how to stretch properly. If you think yoga is just about stretching, you got it all wrong. There's so much more to yoga. And again, yes, I am building up yoga. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Do I recommend all forms of yoga? No. I can't stand, and this is me personally, it's not that I don't feel it's any good, because it is good. I just can't stand doing it. The slow, methodical, the soothing, relax, the Om type yoga. Have nothing against it. It's just not my bag. I just don't like it. There's a type of yoga out there, and you can class it. It falls under the yoga umbrella, but it's a style of all its own. It's called DDPY. I'm not going to go through the evolution of it, but if you're a professional wrestling fan in the 90s, like I am, especially in the 90s, there's a wrestler called Diamond Dallas Page, DDP. He developed this style of yoga, and now it's a whole business, it's a whole movement, it's a whole different lifestyle. It's called DDPY, is what it's called, because it's more than just yoga, and it's gone through different evolutions, if you will. And and I heard this from somebody the other day, and I thought, this is a good marketing play. I wish the DDP would use it, but I understand why he doesn't. This is a guy reviewing it. I listened to him. He says DDPY takes the religious undertones of yoga completely out of it. It focuses on the yoga itself, and it focuses on calisthenics. And it's not the soothing. You'd think because I'm no, I haven't drank enough to be slurring my words yet. No, believe me, I just started. Give me a couple hours and I will be. but it's a soothing. What was I saying? Anyway, it's not your lay back and relax, focus on this type of yoga. No, DDP and the instructors get in your face and they will yell at you in a loving way. Okay, I'm not saying they'll yell at you like you're doing it wrong, you're an idiot, blah blah blah. And I'm not that kind of yelling, but it is loud. He can be obnoxious, but he's loving at the same time. It's hard to explain unless you witness, unless you see it. His belief is DDP yoga, and I believe it the same way, and so does his instructors. And I'm not one of the. I'm not certified to teach it. Keep that in mind. I'm not certified to teach it, although I'm sure I can. I just don't have the certification. I haven't gone through the practice of doing so at this point. It is completely different, and I absolutely love it. Go to ddpy.com and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Will it help your sciatic nerve? I'm sure it can, Bill. I'd say check it out and review it yourself. I have the DVDs. I have 2 sets of DVDs. They have a monthly app or a monthly fee where you can get the app and follow along with the app. It is a follow along workout. Basically, is what it is you follow along with it. And they have all kinds of different workouts. And the cool thing about it is they are very, very, very specific about this part. The whole DDP company. Make it your own workout. If somebody can stretch and put their leg behind their head and stretch that way, that's fine. They're not expecting everybody to do that. If you can follow along and lift your leg 2 inches off the ground while somebody else is putting their leg around their head, you're going to be applauded. That's great. I mean, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. But man, do it. They're going to encourage you. When I say they, DDP and the instructors and myself, I will include myself on this. If that's all you can do, I will cheer you on. Why? Because you're doing it. If you put effort into it, you'll eventually get better and better and better at it. If you lift your leg up, if you can only lift your leg up, and I'm using this for an example. If you can only lift your leg up 1 inch, great. I will applaud you for it because guess what? In 3-4 weeks, if you keep doing it, maybe you can get up to 2 inches, then 3, then 4, then 5. I don't know what your goal is. But once your body starts to move, once your body gets accustomed to moving, a lot of things within your body will start healing itself. I'm a firm believer in that. And that's just not me saying this. Like I said, I've interviewed well over 200 people in the health and fitness world. Some of them, I didn't feel like they knew what the heck they were talking about. Other ones, I was like, wow, this guy's on it. This girl's on it. Absolutely. So I know a little bit what I'm talking about here. Like I said, and I go back to what I said at the beginning, your body's designed to move. Most people don't use it that way. But once you give your body the opportunity to start moving like it was designed to do, a lot of self-healing will come into play. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying everything will be healed. But when you're not giving your body a chance to do what it needs to do, guess what? It's never going to do what it needs to do. But once you give it the chance to do so, it might, Bill, cure your sciatica. I'm not going to say it does. Go to ddpy.com, check it out, or DDP, just type in DDPY or Diamond Dallas Page Yoga. And also look on YouTube. There's all kinds of what they call success stories of people like you wouldn't believe some of these success stories is going on there. And I can't do it justice by my little talk here. Yeah, Lawrence, I got my Bigfoot cap on. Look at that. Bigfoot is the master at hide and seek. Absolutely. I got my Bigfoot on. My good friend Rita got that for me several years ago. So Rita, Thank you if you're out there. Thank you. Yeah. But and if DDPY isn't for you, that's fine. I get it. I get it if it's not for you. But there's so many different forms of yoga out there. There are some people out there that absolutely refuse to even acknowledge that DDP is a form of yoga. Okay, great. If that's not for you, that's great. One thing, and I love telling this story, I'm going to tell it again. What's the best workout you can do? The best workout for you, without question, and I will take this to my grave, the best workout that you can do is the workout you will do. Simple as that. And I got a story about this. Before I got into the health and fitness world, I was working out quite a bit. I moved from Indianapolis to Cleveland. I got a job transfer and a promotion, blah, blah, blah. So I was part of the, at the time, Bally's Fitness was nationwide. I can't say it was globally because I don't know, it was nationwide. So I was a member of the Bally's Fitness in Indianapolis. I don't even think Bally's is around anymore. Just by chance, where I ended up moving in Cleveland, the apartment I got was about 3 or 4 miles from a Bally's. I'm like, that's great. I'm still a member of Bally's. I can go nationwide. And I was in a program where I was only paying $10 a month, which was absolutely fantastic for me. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Let's see, Lawrence. I see you having that would not be good exercise running from Bigfoot. Probably not. But so I was going to a Bally's over in Cleveland. I said, you know what? I need to get on track. I need to get a program together. So I got a trainer. And I was going to try out 2 or 3 different trainers. So there's one young lady. I scheduled a time for her to train me. All right, so before she got there, I got on the treadmill doing the bike. I thought that's what I needed to do to warm up, blah, blah, blah. I can get into it. She put me through a workout, which it was tough. Don't get me wrong. The workout was tough and it was good, but I hated it. And when we were done, she says, okay, so I need you to do this every day. I'm like, no. I'm not going to do this every day. She says, why not? She would do this every day or 3 times a week, whatever it was, till the next time we meet next week. I said, no. I said, I hate this. I'm not going to do it. She goes, what do you mean you hate it? I said, I hate what you gave me to do. I don't like any of it. I don't even remember what it was, but I hated it. I said, I'm not going to do it. Fast forward several years, it got me thinking, well, if you hate the workout, you're not going to do it. So what's the point of having that workout? Find a workout you will do. Are you going to enjoy every workout you do? Absolutely not. You never will. Nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody's going to enjoy every workout they do. It's just not going to happen. Okay, it's just like watching a TV series. Do you like every episode in that series? No, you won't. There's be some episodes you think that sucks. Okay? Same thing with working out. You're not going to enjoy everything you do. You will enjoy the aspects of it. If you focus and you do it correctly, you will really enjoy the outcome from it. And you can't help it. Now, also keep this in mind with workouts, yoga included. Dietary habits are a huge part of it. There's a saying in the fitness world, you can't out-train a bad diet. You can't. If your diet sucks, you can have the best workouts in the world, whatever that means to you, and you're not going to see any results from it because your diet sucks. So keep your diet in check. And I used to say that we as adults, we know what we should eat to be healthy. And somebody corrected me with that. It's like, no, not everybody knows what they should eat. I said, okay, you're right. You're right. So let me rephrase that. As adults, okay, when I say adults, so let's say over 25, especially if you're over 50 years old, you know this. You know what is bad for you. Pizza, beer, burgers, hot dogs, a lot of pasta with a lot of sauce on it, the soda pop, the sugars, bad for you. People say, what about carbs? Well, there's good carbs and bad carbs. And there's good pasta and bad pasta. There's good bread and bad bread. You have to figure out which ones is good, which one is bad. Things with a lot of sugar is bad. If you can't figure it out on your own, which a lot of people can't, and it's not a put down or negative toward anybody. If you can't figure it out on your own, let me give you some really good tips here. Follow these 3 things. If you want to put a 4th one in there, I'll throw that in there as well. Cut back on your sugar. If you can eliminate sugar, that's even better, but most people can't. Cut back on sugar. Cut back on salt. If you're a type of person that has to salt your food before you even taste it, you're eating way too much salt. Cut back on sugar. Cut back on salt. Drink more water. You do those 3 things consistently, you're going to see so much change in yourself. It's scary how much change you're going to see and how rapidly the change will happen. If you couple that with a workout, especially with a yoga workout, you're going to be shocked at the results. Now, if you want to take it a step further, I say sleep more is another one in there, but that's some people debate me on this one all the time. I'm not going to get into it. Here's another one. Eat a ton of vegetables. There you go. Do those 3 things. 4 things. Cut back on sugar. Cut back on salt. Drink more water. Eat a ton of vegetables. You do those 4 things, I will promise you, you're going to see changes. All right. Is it going to be overnight? No. Within a week? Yes. I will promise you that much without question. Now, here's an alternative to it. There's some people out there, and I wholeheartedly believe this, I just don't practice it. Carnivore diet. I mean, you go strict carnivore. Meat, fish, chicken, eggs. Meat, fish, chicken, eggs, and seafood. Man, I guess the fish is seafood. Meat, fish, chicken, eggs. Meat, fish, chicken, eggs. You eat those 4, you're going to see some major changes happening in your body. Now, people just that's hard to do. Extremely difficult to do. I didn't want to get into this far because now we're getting way, 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 way beyond what I want to talk about, which we'll save for another time. But you do what I tell you, and you're going to see some changes. Yoga. That's what I was talking. Yoga. I have been, a fan of DDP yoga for at least a decade, probably more than a decade. Have I focused on it? I have in the past, not as much as I should. I have decided this past week because I don't want to say I'm training for something, but I'm hoping something will happen to me in the next few months that if it happens, I will be ecstatic about it and everybody's going to know about it. Believe me, once it happens. If it happens. Is it a long shot? Yeah. And if it doesn't happen, I mean, I'll disclose it once it's all over. Okay. But in order for me to be happy about it for myself, I want to put myself in a position physically and aesthetically. Is that right? Aesthetically. I'll be the first to admit, and I've said it several times, I need to drop at least 30 pounds. Andrew, you're saying you're fat? Yep. I'm saying I'm fat. Yep. But I'll match my health. I'll match my fitness. I'll match anything about anybody against anybody else my age. I am uber confident in my health and uber confident in my physical ability. Absolutely. Just as much confidence as I am behind this microphone. Okay. Against people my age. Against a 25-year-old, no, absolutely not. Against an 18-year-old, absolutely not. But against people my age, not a problem. Okay? All right. All that being said, mercy. This is, hey, folks, you know what? When I tell you I'm confident what I'm saying, what I'm doing here, I have 0 notes in front of me. I had zero direction I was going to go outside of yoga. I mean, I wrote down 3 topics: podcasting, yoga, and now I'm going to get into it's Kyle Busch in a second. And I'll tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. For those who are interested, there you go. Call me up. See if somebody calls or not. Let me do this. Someone wants to call me and talk, debate, add to the conversation, what have you. There it is. And hopefully you'll be able to be heard on air. So if you're watching on Twitch, which I had some callers on Twitch before, feel free to give me a call. 765-505-7348. There you go. That's all for you there. Okay. Kyle Busch. If you're a NASCAR fan, even if you're not a NASCAR fan, the last couple of days, I am sure you've heard of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch tragically and swiftly passed away yesterday. I mean, it was a shock, a major shock to the NASCAR world. Now, for those who do not know, Kyle Busch is a NASCAR driver, was a NASCAR driver. God rest his soul. One of the best. You can debate me all you want on that one, but he is one of the best. As far as NASCAR goes, there's 3 major series in NASCAR. You got the big guys in NASCAR you hear about all the time, the Daytona 500 guys and everything else. A step below that is called the O'Reilly series now. It used to be called the Xfinity series, and at one time it was called the Busch series. Us old NASCAR guys know what that means. Okay, it's the Busch series. And there's also the Craftsman Truck series. We just call it the Truck series. Okay. So, of those 3 series, a lot of people drive. Well, I don't say a lot of people. A few people drive in all 3 series. Usually, how it works is somebody gets into the Truck series, they move up to the Busch series, and I was leave it at that. Call it that. Then from there, they move up to the Cup series, the top dogs. Okay, that's how it goes. Now, once you're in the Cup series, you go back down a little bit as well. Sometimes you compete in the other ones just to get a feel for the racetrack and for the cars and everything else. Now, Kyle Busch did the ranks, did it very, very quickly at a young age, moved up the ranks. And every so often he'll go back and race in the Busch series, and every so often he'll go back and race in the Truck series. So through all 3 series of disciplines of racing, if you will, through all 3 disciplines of racing, he has won more than any other driver ever in the history of driving. Without question, even more than Richard Petty. Richard Petty got all his wins in the NASCAR series. And granted, he raced before there was trucks, before the Busch series. Okay, keep that in mind. But Kyle Busch has the most wins of any driver in NASCAR history, in a NASCAR series. Okay? A generational talent. You had a lot of old timers love Dale Earnhardt, which they still do. Dale Earnhardt will always be the intimidator. Richard Petty, the king, absolutely. Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon as well up there. You can put Jimmy Johnson in there. Kyle Busch was a generational talent. He had a nickname Rowdy Busch. He was very aggressive. He was this generation's Dale Earnhardt. He just was. I mean, he was, what do they call it? A polarizing figure. You either loved him or you didn't. It was one of those, there wasn't anything, well, Kyle Busch, he's okay. No, you loved him or you didn't. He rubbed people the wrong way. Very cocky. Very outspoken. Very talented. Again, regardless if you like the man or not, is irrelevant. He was talented. These last couple of years, not so much. And there's reason, I don't want to say reason, people theorize because of the new generation of cars that they had. Unless you understand NASCAR, you don't know what I'm talking about. But the gear shift was different, the cars were different, everything about it was different. And people say he just couldn't keep up with the younger talent. I say took a little longer to understand it than other talent. He was last couple of weeks. They changed crew chiefs, everything else, and he was coming up the ranks big time. Yeah, I truly believe he was going to be a force to be reckoned with by the end of this year. Absolutely, he was. Unfortunately, we'll never find out. But a generational talent, regardless. Can you put him in the same class as Dale Earnhardt? Driving wise, I think you can. Win wise, of course you can. Notoriety wise, don't know. Dale Earnhardt was a god to a lot of race car and NASCAR fans back in the day. I mean, an absolute god. Dale Earnhardt was it. You can't say that Kyle Busch was because there's so many other drivers out there. Were there when Earnhardt was playing or was driving? Yeah. But because of, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, folks, because of social media and because of internet access and informational access that people have at their fingertips, there's a lot more information to find on other drivers other than the media focusing on them. Which at the time Earnhardt was doing it because Earnhardt was so brash and so good. The media focused on Earnhardt, which elevated Earnhardt. Okay. And I'm not discrediting anything. I think Earnhardt's one of the best drivers ever, if not the best driver ever. Kyle Busch could rank right up there with him, in my opinion. Okay. Unfortunately, as of right now, and maybe it's come out the last couple hours, I just haven't heard it yet. We still do not know the cause of death for Kyle Busch. 41 years old, just all of a sudden, boom, passed away. We had a report yesterday, which was Thursday, the 21st morning, May 21st, the morning that he was hospitalized and he will not be competing at Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend. This is a big race, one of the main three of the NASCAR series. I guess you can call it main four if you call it a championship race. But you have the Brickyard, you have the Coca-Cola 600, and you have the Daytona 500. This weekend is the Coca-Cola 600. Any NASCAR driver that's worth his soul, or her soul, because there's women now, her soul, will want to race in this race. This is a big race. This is one which will put you on the map. So this is a big deal. So when they announced yesterday morning that Kyle Busch had a severe illness and he will not be competing, there was like, oh, what? What's going on? What's the illness? But they never said. They being the officials, NASCAR officials, the family, so on and so forth. Of course, the hospital can't. That's illegal. It's a HIPAA violation. The hospital can't, which I'm glad they have not done anything. Last night, 6 o'clock news, I'm watching it. Opening story of the news. Kyle Busch, NASCAR has put out a statement. Kyle Busch has passed away. What? I'm a Kyle Busch fan. I absolutely love Kyle Busch. I fell in love with him several years ago. I loved his style. I love his racing ability. I just loved everything about the man, how he presented himself. And he has a hot wife too. Should I say that? I've said it before, and it's true. She has a hot wife. And he's gone. Just boom, just like that. And it's a shock to the NASCAR world. I mean, the NASCAR world, and I'm a NASCAR fan, hasn't had this sort of a shock since Dale Earnhardt in 2001. We haven't had that sort of a shock since then. I remember sitting in my chair at my house. I watched the Daytona 500 with my buddy Kenny, as we do every year when I lived over there. We watched it together. And I think I was at his house, or was he at my house? I forget which one it was. I think I was at his house. Saw the wreck at the end. And if you're a NASCAR fan, you'll never forget that wreck. I went home and I turned on the TV, and right then is when they announced we've lost Dale Earnhardt. I mean, what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name. The one of the head honchos at NASCAR said we lost Dale Earnhardt. My jaw hit the floor. I'm like, oh, what? My buddy Kenny called me right away. He says, "Did you just hear this?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Dude, I can't talk. I can't talk right now." And I hung up the phone. Somebody else called me, my buddy Jay at the time. And I doubt if he was watching right now, but if you're watching, hey, buddy, I miss you, man. He calls me up and says, "Dude, did you hear it?" I said, "I can't talk right now." And I literally hung up the phone on him. It was a running gag for years after. But I was in such shock, and I didn't know how to react. I really didn't know how to react. It was such, I don't want to say traumatizing, because it wasn't traumatizing. It was just a shock. I mean, how can somebody larger than life just be taken away from me just like that? Literally, just like that. Never met the man. I wasn't the biggest fan of Dale Earnhardt Sr. I was a Mark Martin fan at the time. But still, Dale Earnhardt was Dale Earnhardt. Even to this day, people know who Dale Earnhardt is. And it's 25 years later. But just taken away. I never had that feeling again until yesterday when I heard Kyle Busch taken away. Now, above that or beyond that, my father taken away. Literally just like that. But it's a whole different level for me, which I don't want to get into. I don't want to compare the two, because Dale and Kyle, as much as it affected me, is here. My father is way up here. I mean, it's at a different level. And they're not even a comparison. And it's not a put down for Dale and Kyle, but you guys understand that. All right. I'm not going to get into it. But to be taken away just like that, it's for Dale, it was more emotional for me, because I didn't understand what family was, because I wasn't in a position where I was in a position to have a family of my own, but I didn't. So I wasn't thinking as a family. I was thinking more of a fan. And now with Kyle Busch yesterday, now I don't have a family of my own. In other words, wife and kids. I don't have that. I haven't been blessed with having that. On another story. But right away, I'm thinking, and I don't know why my mind went this way. Like, oh my God, his poor wife, his 2 kids. Wow. Right away, I thought of that. Right away. Is that right, wrong, good, bad? I don't know, but that's what I thought about right away. More so than the loss that NASCAR has, which is huge, but it's huger, if that's even a word, for his wife and his kids. And if anybody wants to debate me on that, which I don't think you can, a guy's profession or a girl's profession is one thing. Their family is completely different. I mean, holy moly, what can you do? And my mind went strictly to them, because being a fan of one person, yeah, you're going to find somebody else to be a fan of. You just are. That's just it. But you're never going to replace that void in the family. And I thought about this today, and it's an unfortunate comparison, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought about this. Kyle Busch and Charlie Kirk, whether you like the two or not, instantly, boom, taken away. For whatever reason, taken away. They both had wives. They both had kids. They both were young. Charlie Kirk was in his early 30s. Kyle Busch was 41. They both had tremendous futures in front of them. Tremendous. Kyle still had, in my opinion, another couple of championships he could have won. He was on the verge of it. Charlie, no doubt about it, he had a future beyond what anybody's thought process. So all of a sudden he's taken away from his family, taken away from the sport, taken away from the earth. Here's something that I heard Kenny Wallace say today. And I'm throwing out these names. If you're not a NASCAR fan, don't worry about it. If you're a NASCAR fan, you know exactly who they are. Kenny Wallace said something today, and I did not know this. On Tuesday of this week, Kyle died on Thursday. On Tuesday of this week, I guess Kyle was, I'm going to assume, in Indianapolis. I could be wrong with this one. Could be wrong. I'm going to assume Indianapolis. He was with Mario Andretti, who was infamous in the world of racing. Infamous. He was with Mario Andretti. They opened up together a new go-kart facility for kids. Okay? Mario had just tweeted a picture of himself and Kyle and a few other folks at this go-kart facility. Kyle was, I don't know if he was donating, if he was a co-owner. I don't know his involvement with it. Don't know. I'm not going to try to know. That's not the point. The point is that on Tuesday, at least that's what, according to Kenny, it was done on Tuesday. Mario had tweeted this picture of himself and Kyle Busch and other folks. And 2 days later, gone. Just like that, taken away. What can you say to that? I am speechless at this point. This weekend is going to be hard for a lot of people to go through. Again, I so feel for his wife. His daughter might not quite understand it. His son, him being Kyle, his son, I'm sure, doesn't really understand the magnitude of what's going on. I think he's 11 or 12 years old. Yeah, he's saddened, I'm sure. Yeah. But when you're 11, 12 years old, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how big your dad was in the world. In your world, he was everything. But in the world outside of that, you have no clue. You haven't a clue. You can't at that point. So I don't know how to feel. I don't want to phrase this. It is such empty feeling for me, not knowing how to feel for his two kids, his daughter and his son. His wife, I can kind of sort of understand the feeling because when my dad was taken away from me, I can kind of marry the two feelings that she's having and I'm having. Probably not as deep as she is, and I'm not downplaying it at all. But it's just, how can you? I mean, I don't even know. Don't even know what to say at this point. I don't even know how to express how I'm feeling because it's not so much as an individual thing for myself. It's more for the family things. I mean, and maybe because I'm single and I'm in the dating realm of the world. And no, don't take this the wrong way, but Kyle's wife, and I can't think of her name right on top of my head, and it's irrelevant. The same thing with Charlie Kirk's wife. They're both young. Are they going to go through the rest of their lives without finding another life partner? It may. And again, I'm not saying this in any kind of making fun of or downplaying or downgrading or anything like that. I mean, is that the plan? And if they do, how can the next person live up to the person who they had? I mean, I guess you can say that anybody can say that about their spouse if they lose their spouse, right? I guess you can say that, but think about that. You know, they're both young. And I hope I'm not saying that in a you know, you're not thinking I'm saying that in a negative way. But are they expected to go through the rest of their lives alone? Maybe they are. I don't know. I mean, I have. I'm not trying to be emotional or oh, woe is me type thing. That's not no, that's not what I'm getting at here. I'm getting it to the fact of, and again, nothing that nothing is scripted, nothing is I have no zero notes in front of me. I didn't know what I was going to get into this direction at all. It's just a whole different theory, not theory, a whole different understanding, a whole different mindset of this when somebody dies so young. And I have friends, I have friends who have lost their spouse at a young age and have gone on to get in different relationships later on. Okay. So they could probably explain it better to me. And I'm not saying anybody's ever going to forget these guys because they're not. They were too huge of an impact on not just their family, but the world itself. When you have somebody who's larger than life, what are you going to do? I don't want to. I mean, I need to get off this and get back away from it. But my God, there's so many tributes. There's so many comments. There's so many. Tributes is the right word for it out there about Kyle Busch. Whether you liked him or didn't like him, again, I was a Kyle Busch fan. Do I have any apparel for Kyle Busch? No, I do not. Lisa, I have a friend who lost his wife. He tried dating, but it didn't work out for him. Yeah, I understand. I have a friend. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not authorized to. She lost her husband 10 plus years ago, I'm going to assume. And she recently found somebody else and she fell in love and they're going to get married if they haven't already. Maybe they have already. I don't know. I haven't talked to her for a long time, put it that way. Maybe they have gotten married. But of course, she's never going to forget her husband. And I'm not downplaying that. I'm not downplaying your friend, Lisa. But when you have a person of a caliber of a Charlie Kirk or a Kyle Busch, I think, and I don't know by self-understanding of this, I don't know, but those guys again are larger than life. And of course, no one can be replaced. Even your friend Lisa, you're not going to replace the spouse. Of course not. They never will. That's not what I'm talking about. And the popcorn go down the wrong throat. Sorry about that. Put a little light to this now. When you have somebody that's impacts the world, impacts the nation, impacts whatever, it's got to be a different feeling than your local community. And I'm not downplaying that. And Lisa, you know this. At least in my thought process, my dad was larger than life in this town. He was larger than life in where he came from in Italy. But you go to like an Indianapolis or outside of Clinton, not so much. I understand that. So it wasn't a global thing or a national thing, because you can argue that Kyle Busch and Charlie Kirk were national things. You can possibly argue there are more than that, but national, yeah, absolutely. My dad locally, I could never live up to what he accomplished. And you can say that about my great uncle, who I was named after, before before my family moved to here. He died in the early '60s. He was larger than life in Clinton as well. Have I lived up to that? Not a chance. Not a chance. If my uncle and my dad were tens, I may be pushing a one, maybe, and that's give myself extra credit on that aspect. She was. That's just we're getting to a whole different ball games. Lisa, thanks. Way to go. All right, appreciate it. Thank you. No, but I hope you understand what I'm saying here, and I hope it makes sense. And if not, I don't know how else to explain it. I'm sure if I had some time to think about it more. But my word. Whew. It's getting deep tonight. We need to get back to the fun of popcorn and whiskey, don't we? So, hey, if you're still watching, sorry to bring you down, but I'm talking from the heart a little bit here tonight. And we'll just leave it at that. Okay, let's back up, reset. Rest in peace, Kyle. Thoughts and prayers to your family. Thoughts and prayers to NASCAR Nation. My hat's off to you. Well, hat tip. Hats off to you. Okay. Now, okay, now that you heard me chew and drink and do all that good stuff on the mic, thanks for being here. Again, you're here for the first time. Let me reset, go back to what I was talking about at the beginning. The reason you're seeing two colors here is because this is called a windscreen, and it helps with what they call plosives when they go puh into the microphone. It's called a plosive when you have a P sound or a K sound. Those are the two main ones, P and K. It's called a plosive. If you have something blocking the airflow from hitting the microphone in a bam, bam, bam way, like a puh, bam, bam. If you have something blocking that, it helps soften that blow, if you will. So the one windscreen I had, when I listened back, I didn't like how the plosives were coming across. And this microphone, the XM 8500 by Behringer, is notorious for plosives. It is a great microphone, don't get me wrong, but it's notorious for plosives. And this windscreen wasn't doing enough, so I put a second windscreen on there. And I didn't want to put a pink one on for the time being, so I put a yellow one. I had the yellow one over the black one at first, but it was just too... It was the focal point of everything. And it really stood out, especially against my blue shirt. It really stood out. So I changed it back to the black and the yellow. It's also my high school colors, black and yellow. It was actually black and gold. That's South Vermilion High School. But my love goes to my St. Joseph's College Pumas, cardinal and purple, which I don't have a cardinal and purple microphone, a windscreen, or I would. Which one do I have more love for? The St. Joseph's College or the South Vermilion Wildcats? St. Joseph's College. A lot of reason behind that. Yes, I live in the community, South Vermilion High School. Yes, I get it. Blah, blah, blah. For reasons I won't get into tonight on this podcast because it's not fair. I don't dislike them, but my loyalty goes to St. Joe's. Has my college degree done anything for me? Absolutely not. Zero, zilch, nothing. Is it the college's fault? No, my fault. I wouldn't trade my 4 years experience at the college for anything. But if I were to do it all again, I wouldn't go that route. Why am I talking about this now? I have no idea. But I would not go that route if I would trade it, if I would do it all again. Chances are I'd probably go to the military, or I would have went to Ivy Tech. Again, nothing against my college. Absolutely love my Pumas. I bleed cardinal and purple. I will not wear another college insignia on my body at all. If it's not St. Joseph's College, I will not wear it. I will not put it on my body. High school, yeah. See, I taught at West Vigo for a while, so I had their hats and everything else. When I was in Florida, taught at Lemon Bay High School, had their hats and everything else, absolutely. But colleges, absolutely not. Will not put another college insignia on my body. Silly, absolutely. Me, absolutely. Okay, there you go. And yes, I am a huge Notre Dame fan as well. Notre Dame football. Not basketball or anything else, but Notre Dame football, yeah. But I will not wear a Notre Dame hat or Notre Dame clothing. Just won't. If it doesn't say SJC, ain't wearing it. Okay, enough of that. My Bigfoot hat. Bigfoot number one in hide and seek. Absolutely. And I got to go back and listen today because whether you like them or not, whether you agree with me or not, irrelevant. But the Clay and Buck show on the radio today, I got to see if I can find it. It's had George Norrie on there. If you don't know who George Norrie is, there is a show on the radio. And when you're driving late at night, I think it's after 10 o'clock, maybe, it is crucial you listen to this program. Absolutely love it. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Used to be with Art Bell until he passed away. God rest his soul. But this is what I call the crazy people calling in. They're talking about Bigfoot, talking about UFOs, talking about extraterrestrials, talking about all kinds of weird ass things out there. And George Norrie was a guest on the Clay and Buck show today. At least they promoted it. And they're going to talk about all the UFO stuff that's being released by the government. I think that's a cool thing to hear that. And going back to, so if you don't listen to AM Coast to Coast, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is such a cool show to listen to. All the crazies calling in. Yes, there's a lot of commercials. Yes, I get it. A funny story. When I was driving Uber, right before the pandemic, I have Uber stories. I'll dedicate one night to Uber. In my car, when I was driving late at night, I had to have the AM Coast to Coast online on the radio. People will come in. What the hell are you listening to? I said, AM Coast to Coast. It's great. They want to listen to something else. And so I accommodated my guest in my car, listen to something else, which is fine. But some of them liked it. AM Coast to Coast was great. People call in. And it's such a well-produced and well-put-together radio program. I like listening to radio programs if they're entertaining. I can't stand it when they have umpteen commercials. But hey, that's part of that's how they get paid. I get it. But I gotta go back and listen to that. My gosh, I've been going for an hour and 10 minutes tonight. I didn't realize it was that long. Boy, when you're a professional like me and you have this professional equipment like me, folks, if you want to get into podcasting, you want to get into live streaming, ask me. Let me help you. Especially if you're on a budget, a shoestring budget. Let me help you. I have done so much trial and error. I have done so many mistakes. I have done so much to understand how this works. Do I have all the programs online and how it all works online? Absolutely not. This microphone and how it connects to the internet, how it connects to your computer. Yeah, I can make it so your sound quality is just as good as anybody else's out there, and you won't be embarrassed to be a guest on anybody. I can help you out if you're interested in that. Why? Because I do that. So if you're interested in a budget production, excuse me, if you're interested in a budget, hey JD, what's up, buddy? Hey man, hey, at the beginning of the show, I was giving you a plug, just to let you know. So there you go. Yeah, I'm about ready to sign off anyway, JD, but we'll do this again sometime. But I was giving you a plug at the beginning, so go back and listen to the beginning. And but no, when you want to get, if you want to get sound quality, if you want to get in a budget friendly equipment, I can really hook you up with that. And really, it's not that difficult. For less than $50, let's say right at $50, I can give you a quality that is better than 95% of anybody out there, without question. Yeah, talk to you later, JD. Absolutely, buddy. So there you go. So if you're interested in it, let me know. You know, we can talk. We could be a guest on each other's show. That's another thing. I'm starting having guests on here because I think that's what makes a show interesting, was when you have guests. And yes, I'll pat myself on the back with this. Can I do a show on my own? What do you think? If you've been listening until now, did I keep your attention? Like I said earlier, not a bragging thing, but I am extremely comfortable on this side of the microphone. Extremely comfortable. All right. Okay. So what do we talk about? Talked about podcasting. Talked about yoga. Talked about Kyle Busch. And we went off on tangents on each one of them. Right? I'm looking at getting a new intro and a new outro for what I got going on here. My buddy JD, if he's still listening, he does excellent with his podcasts, with his live streams of doing that. And so I'll probably have him reach out to him for assistance as well for getting mine done. Okay. I'm going to stop it here. Folks, it's been real. An hour, 15 minutes. Wow. I didn't think I was going to go that much tonight, but I appreciate you being here. Lisa, JD, Lawrence, or Larry, and Bill, and the dude from Twitch, whoever you are. Appreciate you guys being here. We will do this again soon. I might be on tomorrow night as well. Okay? I'll stop it here. My name is Andrew, Popcorn and Whiskey. I am the face who runs the place. So until next time, ciao.